What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. This is the second half of the update on my reading of these cozies, which one I'm really getting a cozy, but still, it's gonna be a cozy for me, okay? Bingo, bye bye. I'm gonna just share what my thoughts were on the book. So, starting with Death on Demand by Carolyn G. Hart, this is the first book in her On Demand, or is it In Demand? HBO In Demand. I don't know what it is. It On Demand? This is the first book in her Death on Demand series, okay? Anyway, it was published in like the late 80s, so I'm thinking 1987, if I haven't mentioned that yet. But the point is that as the first book in the series, it introduces the reader to her main amateur sleuth slash bookshop owner, Annie Laurance. And the series takes place on this South Carolina island called, I think it's Broward's Rock Island. Now, Annie owns a bookshop that's called Death on Demand. The bookshop is very niche. It specializes in the mystery field. We're talking the capers, the Agatha Christie's, the private eye novels. That's her thing. True crime and the cozies. That's her niche. That's as well as children's mysteries. That's what this Rock Island bookstore is about. So she inherited this bookstore through her uncle. Now, he died in an accident, which, of course, as the book progresses forward, we learn that it's actual murder. But anyway, he ended up giving the bookshop to her. She inherited, and as a mystery lover herself, she takes pride in owning, Death on Demand, the bookstore. Now, what happens is that on this particular island, there are a number of different writers, a number of different mystery writers who come onto this island for various different reasons, many of which are coming there to write, some of which are coming there to escape their past, and some of them are coming there to escape secrets that I can give here. But the point is that they are known mystery writers, some better and much more successful than others, and they come into a Death on Demand bookstore on occasions to formulate a meeting where they talk about the mystery field, talk about their work, that sort of thing. They all have that in common, that they are authors who love the mystery genre and write within it. When it regards to murder in this book, it has to do with Annie's landlord. He himself is a true crime author, and he has a very acrimonious relationship with just about everyone on the island, especially Annie. But he ends up being murdered during their meeting. So we're looking at some of the most classic tropes of the dark rooms, you cut on the lights, the bodies on the floor, the locked room mysteries. All of that stuff comes into play. So let me just get into the pros and the cons that I have with this book. So one, I love that this book is a mystery lover's book, okay? While I was reading and seeing and getting some of the references to different mystery authors and, who came first, who influenced this, that sort of thing, it had me with a pen and paper wanted to write down and scribble down notes of who I can read, actual books that were mentioned within this book, actual mystery stories that was mentioned within this book. So it had me there. So without a doubt, this is a book that's great for mystery lovers and if you want a general cozy. Now, I'm not one to really like romance and mysteries. Like I said, plenty and time again, like there has to be some diplomacy when it comes to the romance. Because, girl, I feel like sometimes authors, they listen to their fans too much and start to really flush in these relationship things. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let me get to my point. I don't like romances that much in mysteries. But there are occasions, and this is one where I am interested in seeing where the romance elements go. Because Annie does get a visit from one of her longtime friends named Max, who comes onto the island and starts to facilitate this reemergence of a romance between him and her. He, of course, becomes her sidekick, and they come together to, solve the murder. So I am interested in seeing where their romance goes, which is really rare of me, but I do want to see what happens in that case. Now, I will say this also, that a lot of the plotting and the clues and the red herrings and things of that nature, they were all really reaching. Although this book is very much the mystery lover's mystery book, I think it was a little bit too far. It was a little bit too much on the gas, playing with a little bit too many cliches. But I will say this, I did enjoy the fact that the author did give each of the different suspects and characters different motives for murders, as well as different secrets. A lot of them was getting away with a little bit too much, if you ask me. So that was good. I think that also there were too many characters to keep up with in that regard. But nonetheless, they each had their different motives for murder and that sort of thing. So I think that was a plus. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep it 100% real that I will say this, that the author gave away who the criminal was very early on. Because this book is written in the third person, there was moments where the author would slip into different characters' scenes besides Annie and Max. She made the mistake to me of slipping into the killer's scene during a very significant plot point within the book, and that gave it away. Now, with that being said, I really can't give it away. But with that being said, she narrowed it. She narrowed the character suspects down from about 6 to only 2 within the span of that particular jumping into that killer's perspective. So while the author did give away who the killer was to me very early on, I mean, it was so obvious. I will say this. I also think that the ending was extremely weak. What I mean by weak is that I think it is important, one, that the reader gets to hear the killer's perspective, although tainted and worn and very, 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 very deadly and fatal. But we need to know his position or her position, you know, why they did what they did. Like, I just feel like that's just a great place to close a mystery when you get that. On occasion, some authors can slip around that, but in this case, we more or less got that from the killer. And on top of that, I also find it annoying, and I feel like it's some cheating, and people may be mad when I say this, but you can tell, I don't care how popular this book is, but you can tell when the author is just trying to throw the book out, just send it to the agent, send it to whoever, blah, 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 blah. I think it is so imperative and important that when you get to the end of a mystery book, the author, some character has to walk the reader backwards through the case. Not necessarily every point by point, but enough of it for us to home in and close this mystery down, close it all down, to wrap it up. In this book, you know, we never went back to how the killer performed, you know, that locker room scene. We never went back to how they obtained some of the murder weapons that they used to not only take out the primary victim, but many others in between. We just never got all of that. And that kind of annoys me. It's like, I hate when you just close the door. Like, you have to wrap it up. I want to go back. When I get to after I did all this work with the main protagonist, and she or he has done all this work to catch this killer. I want to go back and see how each of these steps brought us to this point, and show us how crafty this criminal was to have managed each of these steps to get to where he is. But you know what I'm saying.